to get started, I would like to know where that idea came from, just about getting there to make an album of yourself like that.
Good question. I think that when we through Your Favorite Enemies, I think that I needed that break, I needed that distance, and as a lot of people, when we talk with a lot of people, and you know, when you get to say the same things over and over and over again, even if the band is very different from all the other rock and roll band, in the matter that, in the sense that, you know, there's a lot of impros, and you know, we go through those songs in different forms and different ways, but I think that it was time for me also to take a little break, I would say, and I wasn't really thinking about doing an album. I'm more into writing, you know, so I was writing a lot, and when I left for Tanger, it was really about that, to take, you know, just to take a real break, and I wasn't really didn't think about stuff much in terms of career or doing a record, or there's no, it's funny because it's a very complex album,
yes,
but there's absolutely no ambition in the record.
Well, we kind of surprisingly discovered it, because there was nothing like usual, no promotion. It was like announced just a few, almost we can say days ago, and no like video, like not the usual kind of. Yeah,
that was a way for me to say, well, I can back down anytime, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, okay, it's all right.
If I don't feel like it, it's...
Yeah, I didn't want to go through that whole thing. And I like it. I like doing videos, and I like, you know, everything that goes with releasing an album. But for this, I didn't feel like I had to. I didn't feel like I was into it. And I think it would have been a little sketchy for me to do it, because the album is so, it's a different thing. It's a journey. It's you know, obviously, I don't think we're gonna hear that on the radio. So. And because this is not what it's all about.
Absolutely.
You know, so I didn't want to go into like trying to give some kind of a perspective and samples, musical samples to the people. Say, hey, look, you know, I've got a new record coming in, and so I think and at the same time, I didn't want to freak everybody's out about me having a solo record. So for everything that it means, you know, out of respect for Your Favorite Enemies fans and family, I didn't want to do that, you know, for them to be worried at what's going on. And so, but it was mainly about me being able to back down, probably. I wasn't joking. I was like, what have I done?
What have I done?
I still have time.
But it's funny you mentioned this, because I was in Paris when we announced the record, and I had a chance to meet a few friends of ours, and they were all like, I think a little bit scared and wondering what's going on, and so
yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And can you walk us through maybe how this all came up together, leading to just maybe the album title? What's Windows in the Sky? What does that mean?
I think again, it's very difficult to give like a very short answer to that whole thing, because I've been away for almost 2 years. So and also it's been a lot of things happening. You know, it's just pretty much like all the imageries of the ocean and everything. So it's very difficult for me to give a definite answer about stuff that I'm still discovering through the album, because that's the thing. I'm writing and I don't really think about it after. When either with this project or with the band, with Your Favorite Enemies, I don't really think much about it after. So, and I think that's how I left for almost 2 years. I wasn't really thinking about the next step. I wasn't really thinking about what should I do. And it kind of came back naturally as we were reconnecting in the band, because for a long time we were communicating together, but there was no intention of going back, you know, in the midst of Your Favorite Enemies as we knew it. So the way it was before, so because so many things changed, and I think we grew also artistically, and I was very tired of rock and roll. I wasn't really, I got sick of it a bit, yeah. and it's weird, but it's very tiring. We toured a lot. We did so many things, so many projects, one after another. And at one point, you get very kind of get numb, you know, and you keep repeating the same things over and over again, night after night, and you never want it to become some kind of a gimmick, and you better stop before it becomes some kind of a job, and then it becomes some kind of a cycle. And a lot of people were, especially when we did like Tokyo Session, I was very, very happy about the record. I think that what we did with the record was absolutely beautiful and
Definitely.
amazing. And I was very, very happy. And I felt like when I was in Tanger, I told myself, well, that would be like a very cool high note to leave this thing.
Just as it is with this.
Yeah, exactly. Because then if you don't feel it anymore, and you go back into the whole cycle of things, then you might damage something that you maybe don't understand yet. And when you do that, I think it's very dangerous, because then it becomes ambition. Then through that ambition, there's a lot of dissatisfaction that comes with it, because then it becomes about results, about perceptions, about being seen a certain way.
Sure.
And I didn't want to walk that path. And so I was way more into writing, and I wrote a lot and still do. So that was the background of it. And I was so tired, and I was really damaged, I would say. And Tanger really helped me in that way, because just to be on my own, it was crazy for me to go in North Africa and in such a different setting. You know, sometimes life will, you know, guide you in places you would never imagine yourself, not only to visit, but to stay.
Sure, of course.
And at one point, you know, you visit, it's enough of a situation that it's very strange and in the most beautiful way. And then you stay for a little bit longer, and then it becomes home, and then you don't see much of yourself outside of that realm. And so that was where I was into emotionally, I would say.
Sure.
And it took me 2 years to get back to get back to the surface.
Yeah, and we saw.
Maybe it doesn't sound like it with the record, but this is really what it is.
Well, it definitely sounds like it. And I knew this day at some point would come, because over the years you've been through, as we've had the chance to speak about it a little bit last year, we've been through so much, and it was always put like some kind of in a place called maybe the later drawer.
Yeah.
We'll deal with it later, and they
I have a lot of that.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of these.
And I was always asking, "You're sure you want to do this? You're sure you want to do that?" And it was always, yeah, let's go. And at some point, when you told me, I want to just go, to Tangier, I feel it's like it's the time, right now to do this. And now,
because there's the thing, when you're within the context of a band, that's some. It's not about your decisions.
Sure.
It's not about.
Yeah, you're part of it.
Yeah, and you don't want to be the one who's always like. You don't want to rain on anybody's parade.
Yeah.
Everybody's so into it, and everybody's so involved into it. So when you're coming and you're saying, well, it's I want to take some time off, then you have to think about all the consequences, because it's not like you're with your best friends. It's a family.
Sure.
We're living together.
Yes.
There's a lot of things involved, and so you say, okay, well, you will. I waited as much as I could. And at one point, before it was too late and it was too damaged to even imagine coming back, I had to go. And I think that's the beauty of being in a band. On the flip side was that, and when you're friends, was the fact that I really felt like everybody understood that I didn't need to talk too much about it.
Exactly.
So then I think that I didn't because the worst thing would have been for me to leave with guilt on top of everything else.
Absolutely.
Just like to leave and say, well, okay, this is, it would have been a lot to take,
Sure.
especially at this point,
Yeah, and stay together for the kids. It's never, just doesn't lead anywhere.